Okay, so let's start with our pranam mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
To the Mangala Sharan prayers all together. Om
Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnana-shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Shri
Shri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Stapitam
Stapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupam
Shri
Vadamai
Rupam Vadamyam
Dadati
Dagati
Swapadam
Swapadantikam
Vandeham
Vandeham
Shri
Shri
Guru
Guru
Sriyuta
Sriyuta
Padakamalam
Padakamalam
Shri
Shri
Gurun
Gurun
Vaishnavanscha
Vaishnavanscha
Shri Rupam
Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sahagana
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam
Sadvaitam
Sadvaitam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Harijana
Parijana
Sahitam
Sahitam
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Devam
Shri
Shri
Radha
Radha Krishna Padam
Padam
Sahagana Lalita
Sagananita
Shri Vishakhanvitamscha
Samanvitamsha
He
He
Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karuna
Sindho
Sindhu
Dinabandho Jagatpate
Pate
Gopesha
Gopesha
Gopika Kanta
Gopika
Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Radhe
Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusutte
Vrishabhanusutte
Devi
Devi
Pranamami Hari Priye Vaja
Pranamami Kripa
Kripa
Sindhu
Sindhubhya Evacha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Namah
Namah
Om
Om
Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya
Krishna
Krishna
Preshtaya
Preshtaya
Bhutale
Bhutale
Srimate
Srimate
Bhakti
Bhaktivedanta
Vedanta Swami
Swami
Niti
Niti
Namine
Namine
Namaste
Namaste Saraswate
Saraswate
Deve
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pracharine
Pracharine
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi
Shunyavadi
Paschatya
Paschata
Deshatarine
Deshatarine
Jai
Jai Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Srivasadi
Srivasa Adi
Gaura
Gaura
Bhakta
Bhakta Vrinda
Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare Rama
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 Rama Hare Hare
Hare Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, welcome back to our weekly Bhagavad Gita study or discussion. We are reading from chapter number 9, Adhyaya now Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. And we started last week about how Krishna, by his unmanifested form, in last couple of weeks we read unmanifested form, he is pervading this whole universe, entire universe. And he says that it is in him, but he is not in that. And we tried to understand that. And he is showing how by his opulence, he is all pervading, but he is not part of this creation because he is separate and he is the actual source of this creation. And then last week we read that how he is all pervading or everything rests in me. And he gives an example or analogy of how the mighty wind, even though it is blowing everywhere, but rests in the sky or in the space around it. And then at the end of every millennium, when the creation is annihilated, so everything enters in him. All the material creation goes into a dormant state and enters into him. And at the beginning of the another millennium, it is created again by his potency, by his Maya. So he creates them again and again. And this way the cycle is going on. And so today we are reading from text 8 or shloka 8. So let's recite the verse. Prakṛtiṁ svām avaṣṭabhya
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
visṛjāmi punaḥ punaḥ
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
bhūta-grāmam imam kṛtsnam
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
avaśaṁ prakṛter vaśāt.
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
prakṛtiṁ svām avaṣṭabhya
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
visṛjāmi punaḥ punaḥ
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
bhūta-grāmam imam kṛtsnam
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
avaśaṁ prakṛter vaśāt.
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
Next recitation, Rajesh Parve Prabhu.
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
prakṛtiṁ svām avaṣṭabhya
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
visṛjāmi punaḥ
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
Thank you, Rajesh Prabhu. Chandrakant Prabhu, want to lead?
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
भूतग्राममिमं
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
avaśaṁ
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्.
Thank you, Chandrakant Prabhu. So let's do a word for word meaning. So prakṛtiṁ means this prakriti or material nature. Svām means he's talking about his, Krishna is saying, by his personal self, by himself. Avaṣṭabhya, entering into. Visṛjāmi, I create. Punaḥ punaḥ, again and again. Bhūta-grāmam means the place where all the living entities are residing, the cosmic manifestation, whole this material creation. Imaṁ means these. Kṛtsnam means all or everything in total. Avaśaṁ means automatically or without any control. Prakṛte means of the force of nature, and vaśāt means by its force or by under obligation. Translation: the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Krishna is continuing what he said last couple of weeks, what we read in last previous few verses, that he enters into all the creation. So he's all pervading, but he's not part of this creation because he is actually the source of this creation, and everything rests in him. And then last week we also read that in the beginning of the millennium, everything is created, the material creation is created, and at the end of the millennium, everything enters again into him. So, in further, he is continuing that this whole cosmic order, the whole universe, or all the universes, everything is actually under him. It is not independent. Prakriti is not independent. And this continues for next couple of more verses until verse 10 or take shloka 10. So he's saying that under my will, it is automatically manifested. It comes into existence and all functions again and again. This is happening over time period. This is a cyclical phenomena. This is happening again and again. Punaḥ prakṛtiṁ svām avaṣṭabhya visṛjāmi. I create this punaḥ again and again. And then under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So at the time of every cycle, it is created and it is again annihilated and enters into Mahavishnu or Karanodakashayi Vishnu. So let's read the purport and we can discuss this a little bit more. Join later. Sunil Prabhu, you want to read?
This material world is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahat Tattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purush incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes. And into each universe, the Lord again enters as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as Shirodakshayi Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of the life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word of avaśaṁ that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by his will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of God. And after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved with it.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, in general, Prabhupada explains about the whole creation in a very summarized way here again. And here Krishna says that the whole creation and annihilation process is working of this material manifestation or the cosmos under his will. So Prabhupada briefly explains that this world is manifestation of the inferior material energy that we have learned about in the 7th chapter, that Krishna talks about his two energies. And I think last week also we discussed about this. The inferior energy is the material energy, which is further Krishna explains as eight parts divided. The 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then the 3 subtle or sukshma tattva, that is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So this creation, the material creation, is dead matter made up of these elements, and that is called Mahat Tattva. So that's at the creation. This is very detailed explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the second canto as well as in the third canto. How this creation happens, how in the beginning, from sound, everything is created. Sound starts work because, and sound is the from sound, how space is generated and how Mahatva Tattva is agitated by the three modes of material nature, and then one element at a time, one next gross element is manifested from the previous one. So, and this creation is from his first Purusha incarnation. So we also learned last time, some time back, there are different types of incarnations, and there is something called Purusha Avatara. The Purusha Avatara for whole material creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So this, for the creation, for this material manifestation, there are three Purusha or Vishnu avatars. That is, first one is called Mahavishnu, or also called as Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Karana ocean is said to be, there is a river called Viraja river which separates the material and the spiritual energy, and on the material side of the universe, that river, there is a big ocean form that is called causal or Karana ocean, in which Mahavishnu is always lying in his yoga nidra. And when he is breathing out, innumerable universes come from his pores. These descriptions are given in the different Vedic scriptures. And then each bubble that comes from his pores of the body when he is breathing, that each bubble is the universe. And after that universe is created, he himself enters into another Purusha avatara into each individual universe, and that is mentioned as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. This Garbhodakashayi Vishnu fills the half of the universe bubble with water, and then on that he's lying on Sheshanag. And then we all see there is a picture or the deity, Padmanabha temple, actually, we know of. From that Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel, one lotus flower comes out, and on which Brahma is born, Brahma is created, who is given knowledge of this whole creation by Krishna himself. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. The very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam mentions how creation happens. Janmadhyasya Yatonvayaditaratas. So Brahma first, when he does his 1,000-year tapa, then he is revealed the knowledge within the heart, because he is the only one that time. So he's given the knowledge within the heart, and then he offers those prayers, and then he starts the creation. And then the third Purusha incarnation or Purusha avatara is called Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. So which enters in every living entity in their heart as well as every atom. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyam. Actually, yeah, in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji also prays Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham, that you are in every anda or universe, but at the same time you also enter in every paramanu, every atom. And because he enters in every atom and every living entity's heart as Paramatma, that's how everything gets motion, everything is put into motion. Without presence of Paramatma or without presence of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, there is no movement in the universe. And this is also very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, that even though the living entities are there, but those living entities also can function, all the devatas can also function only by the presence of Paramatma. Only when Paramatma enters in everything, it starts functioning or moving. So for this whole material creation, Krishna, these three Purusha incarnations, Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, these make it possible, whole creation. So he enters in every minute atom, and that's what is explained here. So he says that visṛjāmi punaḥ prakṛtiṁ svām avaṣṭabhya. So when he enters in every atom and every whole creation, that's how he creates again and again every time. And bhūta-grāmam, bhūta means all the living entities, grāmam is the place. So now after creating this material place where now the living entities can live, the living entities are injected by glance of the Supreme Lord. So when they impregnated, so that is what we will read eventually in the 14th chapter of BhagavadGita, where Krishna says that what is that? Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya. That all these different forms of yoni or living entities, murtaya, they are possible because of murta or form. And then sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tāsāṁ brahma mahad-yonir aham bija pradapita. That I am the seed giving father of all the living entities. Let's look at that verse quickly. 14th chapter, 4th shloka, it says that sarvayonishu, all the different forms. We know that there are, we hear or read from the Shastra or different scriptures, there are 8.4 million different types of form. 84 laksh yoni आपण जे म्हणतो ते. So all of them are possible only by birth, and for all those mahad yonir aham bija pradapida. So he is the impregnating father in the material world. He is the seed giving father of all the living entities, and that's how they are impregnated into this material creation, and that's how their birth is made possible. So one may think that, okay, here Prabhupada again in the purport clarifies that there is no evolution that Darwinian theory mentions, that, oh, in the beginning there was only one cell and then it evolved into multi-cell living entities, and that's how there were no human beings in the beginning. Somehow they evolved into monkeys, and monkeys evolved into men. It's not like that. Everything is created simultaneously. All the different type of species of life exist simultaneously. How are they created? Based on their past karma, which they have balance of in the previous creation before the annihilation took place. So there is no loss or gain to anybody. The process works so perfectly that it's not that, oh, I did some activities in the past creation, now everything is forgotten and I start new. No, you start where you had left off in the past life or in the past creation. So they are manifested according to their desires, what they had, the living entity, and according to the balance of karma, what they had. Man proposes, God disposes. So whatever desire they had, they were put into certain time for dormant state, and they are given birth again into their balance of karma accordingly in specific form of body. So they all exist simultaneously. Man, animal, beasts, birds, trees, everything is created simultaneously. And this is also what types of bodies are created, what types of forms are created. They're all design, how it is created, what types are there, and then everything is described in Bhagavatam second canto. That there are animals who, even the eating process of them is different. There are living entities who eat through their feet, like trees, they eat through their feet. There are living entities who eat and their process, so their food goes from down to up. For trees, for us, when we eat, our food goes from top to bottom. For the animals, living entities like four-legged animals, their food travels from sideways. So all these details, descriptions are given how everything is created, all the living entities. And then the janma is also possible in 4 different ways. What is that? One, we take birth from embryo. Then birds and reptiles, they give birth through the eggs. So Andaja, Svedaja, and I don't know what is called, who takes birth from the womb. So these are different ways. And Udbija, the trees, they take birth from the seeds. And there are some insects, they take birth from sweating. So all these different types of creation that happens, so they happen simultaneously, they are created simultaneously, and again at the time of annihilation, they are again put to rest, and they all enter into Mahavishnu. So this whole, and the creation of different species of life. But Krishna says that he is separate from all of these. He is, even though it is everything is working under his control, but he is independent of this, and he is not directly associated with any of this matter. So in the 5th chapter, Krishna says that somebody may think that, oh, everything is working under me, the soul is not doing anything, the prakriti is working, then who is to blame? Who is to blame for all the sinful activities? So Krishna says that nadatte kaschajit papam. So I don't take anybody's pap or punya, but living entities suffer because they are under the spell of ignorance in Maya. Because they think that they are this body, even though everything is done by Prakriti, and the soul is just getting that experience of happiness and distress because of the rules and regulations, defined laws of nature. Under these laws of nature, they think that they are the one who are experiencing pain and pleasure, but it is actually under the spell of Maya that they are experiencing, and he is aloof from them. But at the same time, he is samoham sarva bhuteshu. He is equal to everybody, and he doesn't differentiate anybody. So that we will read in the next verse a little bit more, how Krishna is not affected by any of this creation, and he is independent of everything. God is independent of the whole creation. So let's take some reflections. Or does it make any sense? I know these topics are a little bit difficult to understand, but the creation, Krishna is saying that even though everything is working under his control, he is independent, he is aloof from it.
Yeah. Prabhuji, the second last line, he has no connection after creation.
Yeah. So just like when even there are rules defined by, say, the government body. Now here, in this case, Krishna is the supreme. So let's take for example, if the president defined with his cabinet defines certain rules, and a person goes into jail because of he did something wrong. So even though the president or the government has defined those rules, he has nothing to do with the person who enters in jail or who comes out of jail, right? Because he is suffering only because of his own accord. So in the same manner, even though the living entities are taking birth and getting annihilated again and again, they are suffering or enjoying only because of their own activities or own consciousness, what they are acting in. He has nothing directly to do anything. He is not involved in it. Just like president is not involved directly in it, but everything still is working under his control. That's a very crude example, but does it make sense a little bit?
But the line before that, and after creating different species of life, is not the regulation for species of life, right? It's creating the species by himself.
Yeah.
And still he has no connection. आपण म्हणतो ना की प्रत्येकात देवाचा अंश असतो किंवा everyone is God's creation, right?
Correct.
So God has to be there into some or the other form, right? And not
Yes.
form in the sense, some or the other way.
Yes. So he is present in everyone's heart. That's what the role of Kshirodakshay Vishnu, we understand, right? He enters in every heart. So he is in everyone's heart as Paramatma. But he is just watching. So his role is Upadrashta Anumanta. Upadrashta cha Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. in the 13th chapter, Krishna says. So he is just watching what this person is doing. So he is witness of every thought, every speech, every activity that living entity is doing. So yes, after creating the species of life, he has no connection, in the sense he is not directly doing anything. He's waiting for them to just pay attention to him so that he can guide them properly. But at the same time, he's witness of everything what they are doing. That makes sense?
Yeah, getting now.
So upadrashta, let's go to 1323. Upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara. In the 13th chapter, 23rd verse, he says, 23rd or 20th. Yeah. So he says that upadrashta means overseer, or who is overseeing all the activities, who is witnessing all the activities that living entity is doing. And at the same time, he is anumanta, he is permitter also. He gives permission based on what karmic reaction he has and how strong desire he has. He is also at the same time bharta, who is maintaining everyone, and bhokta. He is also the supreme enjoyer. So he is also enjoying or suffering in a way that living entity is enjoying or suffering with him, because he is closely watching him, and he is the supreme controller, Maheshwar. And that's what it is called Paramatma iti cha api ukta. So Paramatma iti cha api ukta. And he is called Paramatma because he is always there with every living entity in the heart. Dehesmin purushapara. So in purush, in deha, in every body of a living entity, that supreme being, para, the transcendental being, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, as Paramatma, residing in everybody's heart. So in that sense, he is there, but he is not forcing to do anything. So that's why after giving birth, now it is your responsibility. It's just like when when a child is grown, a father gives him independence, that yes, go and live your life now. But at the same time, he's watching him. How can I guide him, or how can I help him? But he doesn't interfere in the minute free will, the independence or the choices that the living entity makes. So here he says in third, yet in this body, Dehesmin, there is another transcendental enjoyer, that is Paramatma. That is, so in our body, there are two Atmas. One is me, myself, and one is Paramatma, Kshirodakashai Vishnu. So there are two, or in the Upanishads, it is said that this body is like a tree and there are two birds sitting. One is trying to enjoy the fruits of his action, and one is just witnessing that bird. And the Paramatma is his eternal friend. He's just witnessing all the time and waiting that he will turn to me and ask for guidance. That's what Upanishad says. I don't remember the name of Upanishad, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it is mentioned probably here in the purport. Let's see. But who exists as overseer and permitter, Upadrashta and Anumanta, and who is known as Super Soul or Paramatma. So to answer your question, and after creating different species of life, so he created according to their karmic balance what they have and their desire what they have. So somebody got a dog body, somebody got a cat body, somebody got a human body, somebody got a devata body, somebody got a asura body. So they got it, and after that, then Krishna doesn't interfere in them, but he is always with them. So he has no connection with them in that sense. He let them use their minute independence what they have. He doesn't interfere in their choices. Does that make sense now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even at the end of Bhagavad Gita, when this instruction is completed, Krishna says to Arjuna, I have given you all the knowledge that is required. Now, think about this, deliberate on this, and yathechasi tatha kuru. Do what you want. He doesn't interfere in the independence what he has given to the living entities. But he is always ready to help and guide us. Okay, let's read the next verse. Yeah, it's a small purport, and it is also because it is continuation of what we have been discussing last couple of weeks and closely attached, closely associated. So let's read this. न च मां तानि कर्माणि
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
उदासीनवद् आसीनम्
उदासीनवदासीनम्
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
उदासीनवदासीनम्
उदासीनवदासीनम्
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Let's take a couple of recitations. Sunil Prabhu, is Gandhali Mataji there?
हो एक मिनिट हा.
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
न च
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
उदासीनवदासीनम्
उदासीनवदासीनम्
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Thank you. Bapu Prabhu, you want to lead?
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम्
असक्त तेषु कर्मसु
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So word for word meaning is na means never, cha means also, mam means me, that's Krishna is saying him, tani means all those, karmani the activities, nibadhnanti means bind, bandhan tayar kartate. Dhananjaya, now he is referring to Arjuna here, O conqueror of riches. Udāsīna-vad means neutral, udāsīna. Āsīnam means situated. Asaktaṁ means without attraction or asakta, with detachment. Teṣu means for those. Karmasu means activities. So he is further saying, O Dhanañjaya, all this work cannot bind me. So whatever he is doing as well as the other living entities are doing, nibadhnanti, this cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Udāsīna-vad āsīnam. So he is just neutral for everything because he is not engaging anybody for any activity, neither he is taking results of anybody's activities. He is just giving a proper judgment for everyone. So all this work, whatever is happening in this material creation, does not bind him or cannot bind him. He is always detached from material elements or the whole material creation, because he's pure spirit. He can never be touched by any material thing. So he is always free or detached from material activities, and as though he is completely neutral, udāsīna. Let's read the purport and we can quickly discuss this in continuation of the previous one. Kiran Prabhu, do you want to read the purport?
Yeah, Prabhuji. One should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Atma Ramasam Atma Ramasya Sti prakṛtiṁ samagamaha. He is always involved in his eternal, blissful, spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with these material activities. Material activities are being carried on by his different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the created world. This neutrality is mentioned with the word udāsīna-vad. Although he has control over every minute detail of material activities, he is sitting as if neutral. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is awarded a amount of wealth, but still he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Vaśyama Nairaganyaya na. He is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to this duality, nor is he attached to the creation and annihilation of this material world. The living entities take their different forms in the various species of life according to their past deeds, and the Lord doesn't interfere with them.
Pretty clear, right? What we talked. Thank you, Kiran Prabhu. So, yeah, he said that he is detached, he is completely neutral, and Prabhupada gives very nice example here actually. Just like a high court judge sitting on his bench, he orders and he gives judgment about many cases. He gives somebody, he asks somebody to be hanged, somebody he gives some punishment, somebody he gives some award, but he is neutral. He has nothing to do with either award or punishment, or even he's not affected by anything. He's completely neutral, but he's still the one who is giving the judgment. So in the same manner, Krishna says that he's always detached, he's neutral from all the material activities. Completely neutral, udāsīna-vad. But the living entities are the one who, because of their past deeds, they have been awarded different types of bodies and different types of reactions to their previous actions according to their past deeds. The Lord does not interfere in them. And this is all done by this agency, his agency called Maya or the Prakriti, by material nature. So the laws of material nature are governing everything, and he is giving permission to do that, but he is completely neutral. He is not giving favor to anybody, or he is not against anybody. He is completely neutral. With his control, with his permission, this material nature is working and giving everybody according to what they have done. And in that sense, he is udāsīna. So that's how he has nothing to do with all that is happening. In the same manner, the judge is actually nothing to do with the punishment that person is getting, even though he is the one who is awarding that punishment. because he's completely neutral based on the person, what he has done, either good or bad. He's just passing on the judgment of the that person has to suffer or enjoy. So that's what it is explained here. But again, in the first line, Prabhupada explains that that does not mean that the God does not have any engagements. He doesn't have material engagements, but he's always present in his own abode called Goloka Vrindavan, and he is always engaged in all spiritual activities. Atma Ramasya tasyanti prakṛtya na samāgamah. So he has nothing to do with Prakriti. Prakriti, where he says Prakriti here is material nature. So he doesn't have to do anything. No samāgama, though he has no activity. He is never involved in these material activities. But he is Atmarama, always. He is enjoying himself with his all the spiritual entities he is associating with. In Goloka Vrindavan, he is always performing his own Leela with his associates, the spiritual associates, which are his eternal associates. So that he is engaged in all the spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with this material activity. In that sense, with the material activities, he is completely udāsīna, completely neutral. So that's what we learn from this shloka. That's the purport of this shloka. So let's take some reflections. Any thoughts? And then we can stop today then. Yes, Prabhuji, any comments, questions?
No comments, Prabhuji. This is exactly as continuation of next, right? I am ever detached from all this. It's the same meaning, right?
Yeah. This is continuation of the whole thing, chapter, right? So
Yes.
in this section, he is mentioning one after another that just like I am also not supporting anything, but everything rests in me. This seems like contradictory statement because we always see everything from our own experience and our own perspective.
That previous verse, just open. I like this. Actually, what they're telling is everything is simultaneously they have taken the birth, all species.
Yeah.
And it is not a evolution.
Yeah. The different species of life are created immediately. The creation happens. Everything is simultaneously created according to the desires of, because in the previous annihilation, the living entities which are annihilated, they may have different desires. So their desires could vary accordingly. And so if somebody had a desire to eat meat, so they may be given a body of tiger and lion or some beastly person. Somebody had a saintly desire, or he had done some pious activities and he had a desire to get some long life, enjoy. He may be given a birth in a Swargaloka, heavenly planet of a Devata body, or somebody may be given a birth of a aquatic, or somebody may be given a birth of a human being in rich family, aristocratic family. We read that in the 6th chapter, right? Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Varashto Sanjayate. That if somebody follows this path but he cannot complete it before his death, then he is given birth in the Shuchi. Shuchi means clean person, like Brahmana family, from where he can get some samskara from the beginning of it. Or Srimatam Grihe, some aristocratic or Srimanta family, where he doesn't have to worry about his livelihood. So these all are given birth at the same time. It's not that the Darwinian theory that, oh, there was one species life and then it evolved and then trees came and then animals came and then beast came and then man came. Not like that.
Correct.
And this is nicely explained in Padma Purana, actually. How many species of life are there, how they are created. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interpret. Rajesh Prabhu.
Yeah. Correct. आणि त्याच्या वर जे आहे आणि गर्भोदक्षय विष्णू मीन्स ही इज अ क्रिएशन. क्षीरोदक्षय इज अगेन इंडिव्हिज्युअल क्रिएशन असं आहे का? युनिवर्स, क्रिएशन ऑफ युनिवर्स इज गर्भोदक्षय विष्णू and Shirodaksha Vishnu is a individual means a life form creation by the God.
Let me see if I can find that image. It will, I think, picture speaks 1,000 words than this, right? So let's try to see this creation according to the Vedic scripture. This thing. Let me zoom out a little bit. And let's me go. So in this creation, so this is the spiritual planetary system. Everything is spiritual, and it is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita prayers by Brahmaji. This is like a Golokakhyam. So Sahasrapatra Kamalam Golokakhyam Mahatpadam. So Sahasrapatra Kamalam. So the spiritual world is like compared to a lotus flower, Kamala, which has thousands of petals. Sahasrapatra.
Okay.
And that is called Golokakhyam. So this is called Goloka, where Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan abode, where he is performing all his eternal pastimes. So this is something beyond what you just asked, but so all this above this Brahma Jyoti, everything above is spiritual world.
And that Goloka, outside that is a Vaikuntha Loka.
Goloka, then these are all the different Vaikuntha lokas, Vaikuntha planets. There are many Vaikuntha planets. And this is the original Ayodhya Dham in the spiritual world.
Okay.
And then there is a Kailash Dham. Kailash Dham.
Oh.
And then this is effulgence, and then this is Karana ocean. So
Brahma Jyoti.
So the Brahma Jyoti is effulgence of the Lord, that Brahman. This is the energy of Krishna. That is all effulgent, and in this, by that energy, everything is created. So, and then there is a Karana ocean. So this is the causal ocean. Now in this causal ocean, this is the first Purusha incarnation. That is Mahavishnu or Karanodakashayi Vishnu. So he is lying in this ocean. He incarnates. So Krishna, actually there are many stages which we go through. From Krishna comes Balram. Balram comes first Chaturvyuha, or Chaturvyuha is made up of 4 different incarnations of Krishna. That is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. And then all that, there is a big chain. But then Narayana and all that. But from the second Chaturvyuha Sankarshan comes this Karanodakashayi Vishnu. And then from this Vishnu's pores, when he is breathing, all these bubbles are coming. Each individual bubble is one universe, and there are innumerable of those. So the first Purusha incarnation is causal Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Then what happens is, when each universe is created in this bubble, he enters in each universe and fills this half with water, and then on that, this another Purusha incarnation is lying on the Shesh bed. He is called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu.
Okay.
And this is Garbhodaka ocean. It is within the egg-shaped universe. So that's why it is Garbha. Udaka means water. So that egg is filled with water. So that is Garbha Udaka. And on that he is lying. Garbhodaka Shayi. Shayan Karnara. Now he is lying, he is having yoga nidra on the, he किंवा शयन करतोय कुठे? कारण ओशन मध्ये. He is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then after from his navel, if you see this whole creation, Brahma is created. And when Brahma creates this, there is another Vishnu that takes the third Purusha incarnation happens, that is called Kshira Udakashayi Vishnu. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu he has his own abode in this universe, but even though it is spiritual. So it is like in India, if you go to a US consulate, let's say, so US has a consulate within India, but everything within the premise of that consulate is not following the laws of India, but they are following the laws of USA, because it is consulate of in US, so it is considered as part of US. So in the same manner, here there is a near Dhruva Loka, there is a Kshirodakashayi, there is a planet which is considered as spiritual planet, even though it is in the material universe, and there is a Kshirodaka ocean, Kshira ocean, Kshira Sagar, Dudhata Sagar, and where this Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is residing, but at the same time he also enters in every atom and every living entity's heart as Paramatma. So that is the third Purusha incarnation or Purusha avatar. So, and these three Purusha avatar facilitate the whole creation. They are the one who are managing this whole material creation. So first one is Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi, and third is Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. So that's how Prabhupada mentions that in purport, but this picture probably will make a little more sense.
Yeah. आणि खाली काय अजून
Khali, it is all the universes are resting on the
Ananta
Ananta Shesh, on the hood of Ananta Shesh, he is supporting it. Sankarsana. And then here there are, in each universe, there are 14 different planetary systems. So we are in the middle here, Earth, Bhūloka or earthly planet. Above us, there are 6 heavenly planets or Swargaloka. They are called Bhuvar, Swar, what is it called? Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and topmost is Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. So where Brahma lives here. And below us are called all the hellish planetary systems. Hellish means they are called, their names are Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and the lowest is Patal.
And this consists of one universe.
This is just one universe.
हे जे सगळे गोल दाखवलेले आहेत बबल्स, दिस इज सेपरेट युनिवर्स.
They are different universes. Yeah. And each universe has its own Brahma. Each universe has all the set of cabinet, all the devatas. Each universe has its own Durga.
याच्यात जे म्हणलेलं आहे की गर्भोदक्षय विष्णू फर्स्ट ही क्रिएट्स ओशन आणि तिथून नंतर हे होतं का, म्हणजे
First he lies down here and then first he creates Brahma.
Okay.
And again, there is another twist to this. This all is facilitated by Supreme Lord's energy, Maya Devi, that is Durga. So she is the one who is helping Brahma and others also for this whole creation. So Durga literally means, Durga means fort or prison house. And Durga is the jailer of that prison house. So she is the one who is controlling everybody in that. She is the one who is like a jailer. She is watching everybody, all the living entities, and keeping them in here and giving them different types of punishments or different types of judgment according to their. So Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga. So Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, the 3 stages: creation, Srishti, Sthiti is maintenance, and Pralaya, annihilation. So everything is facilitated by Durga, and she is working as a shadow, Chayeva Yasya. Whose? Govindas, Krishna's. Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga. Yasyanurupa api yasya cha sa cheshtate sa govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajan. And she is not independently working. She is working ichhanurupa api yasya. She is also working according to ichha of somebody. Who is that? Govinda or Adi Purusha. So she is working under guidance of him, and that's what we will read next week, where Krishna says that Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam in the BhagavadGita. So this whole cosmology is very interesting topic. If you want to get more details of this, there are some chapters I can suggest from Srimad Bhagavatam, and the details of cosmology are given in the 5th canto, 26th chapter, and 27th chapter gives descriptions of the hellish planets, which we haven't discussed yet in this. Anyway, I don't want to overwhelm. Huh?
Okay, before we दोन गोष्टी मला यातनं दिसल्यात, म्हणजे which has got a quite a resemblance to science what we read. First thing ki you said ki the whole world has universe has got created through the sound.
Yes.
Okay, आवाज.
Sound vibration. Yes.
Actually modern science पण म्हणतं की बिग बँग थेअरी, इट्स अ बिग बँग ऍक्च्युली. एक मोठा स्फोट झाला, आवाजच झाला, बिग बँग. म्हणजे तो स्फोट झाला हे ओळखलं थ्रू साऊंड आणि लाईट आणि याच्या थ्रू. सो मॉडर्न सायन्स सेज दॅट, अँड आपलं स्क्रिप्चर सेज की इट इज क्रिएटेड फ्रॉम साऊंड. सो दिस इज अ फर्स्ट रिझम्बलन्स दिसतोय. म्हणजे आणि इट्स व्हेरी सरप्राइझिंग, या लोकांना हे सगळं माहिती होतं. म्हणजे इट्स रिटन बाय गॉड, सो डेफिनेटली. आणि सेकंड थिंग जे म्हणले की युनिव्हर्सची निर्मिती होते त्यावेळी वॉटर, जलनिर्मिती पहिल्यांदा आणि नंतर अदर गोष्टी आहेत. तर इट इज ऑल्सो ट्रू. लाईफ फॉर्म जे म्हणतात ना, वेन दे ट्राय टू फाइंड द लाईफ ऑन अदर प्लॅनेट, तर फर्स्ट दे सी की बेसिक कंडिशन मध्ये वॉटर इज द फर्स्ट मेन कंडिशन ऍक्च्युली. इफ देर इज अ वॉटर देन देर इज अ लाईफ. Okay, so this also, which science has revealed now, it is already there in our scriptures actually. It is quite interesting, I mean surprising, that these things are already तिथे सांगितलेलं, but it has been actually proven down the line also by modern methods.
So two things in what you said, Rajesh Prabhu. First thing is Big Bang and sound are not necessarily always same. These theories, what they created, Big Bang is not something. The sound vibration that created is different than Big Bang. So sound is created by modes of material nature working with the Mahat Tattva, that what we read. And then not necessarily, even though water, it says here in the universe there was water, but the element, first element created this was space, ether. And water, according to our scriptures, is not required for presence of life. Even on sun there is life, according to our scriptures, because
we say ether, that is called black matter actually, which is again a subject of I mean
yeah, we can go on there, but we don't want to speculate too much. But we can have maybe sometime when we read about this, maybe one day we can read from Srimad Bhagavatam couple of chapters and try to discuss these things. But this is very interesting topic.
Good.
Yes. Any other thoughts, Prabhuji? Sorry for taking little much longer today.
Yeah.
So we wanted to stop early, but this is. Any other thoughts, Prabhuji's? Any reflections, or is it little bit too overwhelming?
No overwhelming, quite interesting, and quite a good explanation. Quite good.
नाही काही हे नवीन नवीन सगळं समजतंय तिथं त्याला that itself is good. कारण हे पाताळमध्ये हे वेगवेगळे पाताळ लोक आहेत. त्यांना विष्णूचं पण हे क्लासिफिकेशन वेगवेगळं तिथं त्याला या काही गोष्टी माहिती नाहीत ना आपल्याला अजिबात त्याला. सो दॅट्स अ न्यू लर्निंग.
Thank you. Yeah, there are lots of details. I think, unfortunately, we don't know many things, and they are given in the scriptures. It's not that somebody concocted this, but दुर्दैव आपलं असं आहे की आपण जे ऐकतो ते सगळं कुठून तरी इकडून तिकडून ऐकलेल्या माहितीच्या आधारावर आपण आपले मतं बनवतो, पण आपण कधी त्याचा अभ्यास करायचा प्रयत्न करत नाही. आणि और मे बी करत नाही म्हणण्यापेक्षा तसं आपल्याला संधी पण दुर्दैवाने मिळाली नाहीये. तर this is good that we have these scriptures. We are learning about this, and there are gurukuls now in many places. They are teaching this along with the modern material education. It's good. We are getting some exposure to this. So that's very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Kiran Prabhu, Vapu Prabhu, any additional thoughts, Madhu Prabhu, or we can stop then?
No प्रभूजी, थोडं थोडं आता लक्षात येत आहे. आणि हे एवढं वास्ट नॉलेज आहे की एवढं इझिली ते ग्रॅप. तर मे बी तुम्ही म्हटलं त्याप्रमाणे आपण एकदा नंतर पुन्हा याच्यावर सेपरेटली डिस्कस करू भागवतांचे जे काय चॅनल आहे त्याप्रमाणे. गुड की ऍटलिस्ट म्हणजे थोडं तरी बेसिक त्यातलं काही नॉलेज मिळालं त्या निमित्ताने. आणि अजून पुढे पुढे जसं जसं वेळ मिळेल तसं आपण ते कंटिन्यू करत जाऊ. थँक्यू.
Yes. That's why हळूहळू आपण जे करतोय ना आपलं, I think this pace, even actually the pace we are going is also a little bit fast. We can discuss one verse for much longer time, but it's good. We are getting at least overview of this, and we are touching all other related topics which are related to that shloka. So that way, which deepens our understanding of that shloka. So that is important. Yes, Kiran Prabhu.
Prabhuji, there is no different thought, but it is becoming more interesting and very उत्सुकता आता अजून वाढत चालली आहे पुढच्या ह्याच्यात काय असेल. आणि as you said that in the next we'll have further more details on this. Really look forward to that kind of discussion. Just while we were describing it, तुम्ही जर like आजच्या दोन्ही वर्स मध्ये जे होतं की मी while सगळ्यांची उत्पत्ती करणारा तो आहे, पण like a judge, म्हणजे he's like he's not into it, though he is everything. जर तसं नसतं तर मग कदाचित महाभारत झालंच नसतं ना. म्हणजे तसं पाहिलं तर if he knows everything what is going to happen and if he would have controlled it, तर मग हा पुढचा सगळा महाभारत झालाच नसतं. So that itself shows that well he was there, but he's there, but he is not involved into that, not controlling anything.
Yeah, very good thought. Yeah.
So, thank you for explaining very nicely, and I really look forward to further discussions.
Thank you, Prabhu. Bapu Prabhu, any closing thoughts?
येस प्रभूजी, आय मीन सगळ्यांनी जे शेअर केलं तेच माझे थॉट्स आहेत. द एक्झाम्पल विच इज शेअर्ड ऑफ जज, इट इज गिविंग explaining very nicely, and whole universe or how it has happened or created. I mean, it's very imagining. It's very difficult. I mean, such a huge thing. But slowly, probably we can understand it. And from where you have referred that diagram where you're showing?
I can send. You know what, let me send that to, मी जस्ट गुगल केलं कारण हे इमेज अशी ब्रह्मसंहितेवरून केलेली आहे. ब्रह्मसंहिता जे ब्रह्माजीचे प्रेयर आहेत तर ते मी सर्च केलं फक्त क्रिएशन इमेज ब्रह्मसंहिता असं. I just googled it, and there are so many other images that came up. So this is this, and actually so this is whole description from Brahma Samhita and other Vedic literature. So this image is created by, based on the sides, there are also actually verses what gives this description of this everything. So on the left you see this is referring to Brahma Samhita verse 6 or Brahma Samhita text 12, all these descriptions. So the one text verse I just mentioned about this Goloka Vrindavan, that is from the text second text of Brahma Samhita. Sahasra Patra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahatpadam. What does it say? Okay. And it is created by Ananta. Ananta is the one who is maintaining this. So, or one who is always serving Krishna. So, tad anantamsha sambhava. So that is based on that description that image is drawn in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji's prayers. The second verse I was trying to remember. So Sahasra Patra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahatpadam Tat Karnikaram, the center of that, the wall of that Kamal is Tad Dhamam, his supreme abode, Dhama. So Tat he's mentioning here, he's referring to the first verse, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So Krishna's abode is mentioned here, Krishna's Dhama is mentioned, is Sahasra Patra Kamalam. It is like thousands of petals of a lotus flower, and it is called as Gokulakyam. It is called Gokula, and Mahatpadam, it is a great place, the supreme place. Tat Karnikaram, the center of that, the wall of that Kamal is Tad Dhama, his supreme abode, and Tat Anantamsha Sambhavam, and it is made possible, or it is created by Ananta. Balram, he is the immediate expansion of Krishna. So he is always serving Krishna. So that is this image. So this wall of the lotus flower, which is thousands of petals, is his supreme abode. And then all the other descriptions of the other Vaikuntha planets, or this Ayodhya Dham, then this here also is Ayodhya Dham, Dwarka Dham, Mathura Dham. As we come lower and lower, then there are different. Then the first quadruple expansion, what I mentioned here, Vasudev Sankarshan, Aniruddha Pradyumna. And then from them comes the this is the second quadruple expansion. All this, and there are different innumerable Vaikuntha planets in this place. So this is all spiritual world. And on the other side, on this side, material side, there is Karana ocean and the material universes. So this description is, this image is drawn from that, the collective information of all the scriptures, but mainly referring to the Brahma Samhita verses.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Chalo. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We'll stop.
Hare Krishna.
See you all next time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.